Welcome to Secret Identity. I am your host, Troy, and Superman was the superior Superman movie. Bond with my co-host on the road with me, not in Kansas, we're in Wisconsin, Mr. Brent Birnbaum.
Call me Jimmy Olsen, baby.
And our very own Lois Lane, Slater Harrison, watching the Civil War Superman movie in the background there. Where you get,
I think doing my research.
This is the big. There's Zod, so whenever you see Zod, you know you're gonna see some canonically broken Superman actions taken. But we all saw Superman. That's what we're talking about today. We saw this on Thursday before Brent and I left for Wisconsin. I'll start with you, Brent. What are your first thoughts?
This movie was awesome. I knew it was gonna be awesome, but like. What I loved about this movie, and I don't think it's the best.
I didn't like how taller you were than me.
I don't think it's the best superhero movie I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
But it was an amazing, it's for what we needed for a Superman movie. It was perfect.
Yeah. My brother said he gave it an 8 out of 10. And I was worried that a lot of people were going to come out of it being like, this is the best Superman movie ever. I think it's the best Superman movie I've seen in my lifetime. Yes. Obviously, you can't hold a candle to like the Donner movies, but this was exactly the movie we needed right now, like where it wasn't trying to be coy about its political allegories to like what you said about comic books being a reflection of the times. This was very much a reflection of the time that we're in right now, and they didn't shy away. It was clearly Superman stopped the war in the Middle East and was like, what? He's like, what are you gonna do?
Turn around, say it again.
Say it again, Netanyahu. Say it again. You tell that fat piece of shit to come up here. And
what you gonna do, Stricky?
It was
calm down.
Calm down. Just calm down, Lex. Based on like the clips and what I saw in the movie, I was like, oh, Krypto gonna die for sure. And I thought that they handled Krypto beautifully. I thought that it being 3 years in, he'd been Superman for quite some time.
Wait, come back. Please come back later.
Speaking of immigrants, that was housekeeping. I loved it. I walked out of it feeling like I had just seen like a Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie. Like It was just like that. And that post-credit scene shot with him and Krypto looking at the Earth ripped out of All-Star, just perfect. I don't even remember what the second post-credit scene was because that one just took my breath away. I teared up when I saw that.
And I think that's the highest compliment you can almost give a movie because there's such an earnestness about the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies.
Yeah. Slater, what did you think going into this? Because I mean, Gunn at one point said Blue Beetle was like technically the first DC movie in this new universe. You could argue that this obviously was too. There was a lot of characters that Guy Gardner, you know who that is, based on reading what was it? Human Target, and Mr. Terrific and Hawk Girl. There were so many characters that like to the general public, they probably wouldn't know who that is. And here you are, a scholar, knowing who these people are now.
You know what? If I saw this a year ago, I would be a little lost in the sauce. But now that I've been vetted by these two gracious nerds, if I will say, I knew a lot of stuff. Like when I saw Hawk Girl, I was like, oh, I know that bitch. Like I was like, I was pumped because normally I would watch movies like this one back here and any other kind of comic
blockbusters.
Movie. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know, like you could get by without, knowing the full details and stuff, but it is so much more fun when you do. So
totally.
So just want to say it. Huh?
Because you can point to the screen.
Yeah. And I'm like, I know him. But Krypto is so cute. I mean, I already have a unhealthy obsession with dogs, but like for a CGI dog, he looked pretty legit. Like
and modeled after James Gunn's dog. That's who Krypto is modeled after. And then there's video you could find online of like James Gunn showing Krypto to his dog, and the dog is like barking, following it along on screen. And I was like, representation matters. Or that dog had Uncanny Valley and was like, wait, that ain't me. I mean, just the fact that it starts like what we were talking about in the Batman episode with him being severely wounded and him needing a dog to pick him up and get him to where he's got to go. That tells you right away where this Superman was, and it would. A Man of Steel, I will say, is a great movie. It's not a great Superman movie, but it's a great movie. It's a movie that when it's on hotel TV, I'll watch. It's like Batman versus Superman. I don't love it, but I'll watch it because it's a great movie.
And a great Zod performance.
And a great Zod performance. But the problem is it's a movie that shows you, look how fucking cool this guy's powers are. Superman made you go, look how fucking cool this guy's heart is.
Yes.
I had a heart on.
I did. Well, I mean, like, even the crux of it being, you know, first of all, surprise cameo from Bradley Cooper. Who saw that coming, and how did they keep that?
How did they keep that under wraps?
I have no idea. So cool, and like him living.
I not to.
Yeah, he's opening cheesesteaks. He's with Gaga. Bradley Cooper Cheesecake Factory. You eat it, and then you take over the restaurant.
Cheesesteaks, cheesecakes. He's all over the place.
What can this guy do except date an age-appropriate girl? They're
or man, if you're going off the Leonard Bernstein documentary.
Yeah, which I'm afraid of getting docked myself. So
let's talk about that now.
Yeah, no, I thought it was really important for them to show Kal-El and Clark. Like he was Kal-El and trying to be in his roots when he's in this fortress of solitude, and all he really had to remember his parents is this message of them telling him, hey, you're special, go to this earth, be a great person there. And then they miss the second part of the message, which at first you as an audience, you're going, oh, that's Lex definitely screwing with Superman. And like they were able to translate it, and Superman, and then being like, no, they really did tell him to say that. And in the Man of Steel movies, Russell Crowe was kind of a dick and like had that inclination of being like, you are better, you are stronger, you are above all of these people. And the whole point of Superman is he knows that, but he doesn't use that. He's there to show you like, hey, anybody could be this. Batman keeps everyone at bay. Batman will tell you, hey, you're nothing like me. I'll protect you, but we are not the same. Superman is that approachable neighbor. And I thought that I mean, he saved people in this movie. That he wanted to make sure that they had a place to put that kaiju monster before the Justice Gang took it down. And like, you know, he's holding the foot up just to save a dog, you know, because audiences, they could.
And he kicks it.
And yeah, it was just a fun movie that I thought was perfectly casted, and everything was riding on Superman, and rightfully so. And this was the best way to kick off the universe. In what world would we have seen Mr. Terrific?
Well, I want to harpen back to your, is that the term, harp?
Why not? Harpen.
Yeah, harpen. Let's go back. Yeah, I want to go back to your point about the focusing on Clark Kent versus Kal-El, because I think that's such a great point, and I think that's an area where this movie really succeeded, because we said this going all the way back to our All-Star Superman episode. What makes Superman is the presence of Jonathan and Martha Kent, the humanity. It's the fact that they taught him how to be a good person, and in pop culture, we always focus on the Kal-El aspect because of Marlon Brando, because he played Jor-El
on the planet Krypto.
Exactly, in a performance that he phoned in, and we've immortalized this performance. We're like, well, it's Marlon Brando. I mean, he's
who Slater? Who is it?
Marlon Brando.
It's funny.
Yeah. And I love that in this, Gunn made a point of like doing a new take of saying, hey, Jor-El and Lara, maybe they were bad actors.
Yeah.
And Jonathan and Martha, they were the ones that kind of led him on this path.
Yeah, and we didn't even really see them that much in this movie. You know, you had the scene where
when you did, it was so cute. Like,
yes.
They were like classic, like parents that like when you move away from home, they're like calling you on speakerphone. She's like down at the phone, like, okay, we love you.
Yeah.
And they actually sounded like they were from Kansas.
Yeah. And you know, even the part where he had to go and she's like, let me go get your boots, you know, like I was like, that's perfect. And I don't think they didn't really have to, but in the books, you know, she makes a suit for him, right? Yeah. She makes the suit. And this one, even though the suit was kind of MCU-ified, I thought it still looked great. There and the ending where he gets the message played by his parents, and it's John and Martha's message, and that's what's soothing him.
Goosebumps.
Yeah, I just like when I saw that, I had tears in my face, man. It was perfectly. That's how you do a Superman movie, because a Batman versus Superman starts off from the point of view of Bruce Wayne, where Brent and I were just watching the Godzilla 2000 movie because we're in a hotel and it's hotel TV. So it was either that or Goodfellas is currently on right now. I'm not even kidding. Watching Goodfellas.
And you guys laying in the same bed. Hey,
the audience to see we got 2 beds. It's very much.
We lay in one.
We lay in one, yeah.
Yeah,
the other bed's for wrestling.
One's for fun and one's for butt stuff.
Yeah, it's like The Odd Couple, except if they were perfectly in sync. But like we're watching,
right now.
Yeah, you know who's getting pegged. It doesn't take much, does it? the beauty, like watching Godzilla, they're chasing down the Godzilla, and I'm going, there goes your apartment, Brent. There goes Broadway. There's all these explosions. And in Man of Steel, it opens up with Bruce Wayne in Metropolis for some reason, like helping all these people who are in the aftermath of Superman's destruction. And I thought what this movie did so well is like it showed him, which we saw a lot in the trailer, but he's going out of his way to save people and then explaining why. And the clips were a bit misleading, which I think the trailer did really well. We're like showing an angry Superman because that's what we're sort of used to. We're used to like this sort of injustice Superman of him being like, all right, you're not going to solve the world's problems. I'm going to solve it. And you're not going to have a damn thing to say about it. And this showed you that if there was a world of metahumans and they had all these different kinds of powers, and then there was one like Superman, Alan Moore has his take on what it would look like if the United States had a Superman, and that's Dr. Manhattan. This was, okay, the United States has a Superman, but it's not their Superman. He just lives there, and he's there to show you what
Superman.
yeah. Well, there's a lot of people who are going to be saying that. And there was a lot of people who were very upset that Henry Cavill didn't get his shot at being Superman. And I think if Henry Cavill was...
He looks the same as this dude. Like they're
that's the thing about Superman. Yeah, it's like that Seinfeld bit. Like that's.
But this one is actually American. We have to. That needs to be fair. I don't like these British Superman.
He was made in America. Everybody knows.
He was, and we had to get rid of him. We sent him back to El Salvador. He's not from here. And I mean, they were very much not shying away from a pro-immigrant rhetoric in this. I mean, like even when ICE gets him and they slam his head down into the concrete, and they're like, "Is this fucking necessary?" Superman is the one saying this to the government, and then we find out it's at the direction of a billionaire who is probably the biggest lobbyist for these donors in both the Middle East and in the United States. And I'm watching this going like, this is how spelled out politics have had to get in superhero movies now.
He's
I
also
he does. Yeah, Lex owns Tesla. It's Lexla.
Lexla, I'm dead. Well, it's also kind of weird because like they obviously had to be, they had to wrap filming last year or something. You know what I mean? Like the fact that it like came out now and how it's even more relevant and impactful. I'm like, dude, they were like, they saw it. And
I was just gonna say, it's like Andor. The world ain't getting better, kid.
Yeah, I'm like, damn, it's nice to see, but you're like, then it's a sad realization when you leave the theater. You're like, oh, we need a superhero.
Yeah.
We need somebody, please. Zoran.
And I think that,
he sounds like a superhero.
It does, yeah. I mean, that's sort of what I think Gunn encapsulated so well in this movie is you left the theater being like, well, we all could be Superman, like we all could be the thing that steps up and goes, I'm gonna, Lois was first of all, Lois Lane having her own character in Regency, I thought was really great. Like she was her own. You could have a Lois Lane spinoff show of her covering different stories across Metropolis. I thought she held her own. She didn't back down. Great casting. Amy Adams was a great Superman, but a great Lois Lane. Terrible Superman.
Didn't fit in the suit at
all. But like Lois, really, Lois to me is somebody who won't back down. She knows the question before she's going to ask it, and she is also a journalist, and that's sort of her. Nobody likes journalists.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that's maybe the most only unrealistic part is that this movie cared a lot about journalism, and journalism still has a reputation. You know what I mean? people actually took it seriously, and like it was very like, you know, and I'm like, wow, yeah, that's far
Not
off
going to burn
base.
my source. Okay.
Yeah, I did like that she finally was like, look, you either let me interview you as Superman, or I'm going to start telling people the only people who get interviews as Superman are Clark Kent immediately right after.
And Jake Tapper for some reason.
Jake Tapper. Now, let's be honest here. We do have to say Lex Luthor does have some very good points. We'll be right back with it. And today, on today's MetaHuman lead, it was it was just I thought as a whole, it's kind of the movie that we needed right now, and it wasn't even cameo porn. Like every hero that was in it had a purpose for being in it.
Mm-hmm. Metamorpho was terrific, especially.
Oh yeah, Metamorpho was amazing. NoHo Hank as Metamorpho, amazing.
Oh, hi, Superman.
Hi, hello. You are like coolest Kryptonian ever.
You don't talk to me. I make kryptonite.
And him just having that moment of like when they killed that street worker, when Lex killed him, and that guy is going like, don't tell him, I believe in you, Superman. I believe in you. Don't give into this. And that being the thing that Metamorpho is like, what am I doing? Like that he just killed a man. And I didn't know much about Metamorpho. Am I saying his name?
Yeah, Metamorpho, yeah.
It just sounds so ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no way that could be my guy's name. It was a really, really beautiful moment of him just, you know, it's a chain breaking moment, you know, where you realize like, yeah, there's somebody who has the lock and key, but the chains are on you. And if the will is on you enough, then it's your destiny is in the hands. And him being like, all right, I'm going to get Superman out. And not only Superman getting out, him being like, we got to go back and save everybody else that's in there. There was so much Shope in that movie, you know, like the S on his chest stands for Shope, back where he comes from. And it was, every part of it was believable as it felt like watching the Donner movies where that Superman was like everybody's dad. And there's even that shot where he's flying away and then he looks right into the camera. And when you're a kid, you're going, oh, the Superman's looking at me. The whole movie, I felt like it was like my friend, my pal Superman was out there doing what was right.
Yeah, well, because they gave him the most like humanistic level I think that's been like portrayed on screen. Like he was just another dude that happens to fly and do some crazy shit. But we love him, neighbor. Like,
well, that's the point he makes at the end of the movie too to Lex. He goes, "That's what makes me Superman." He goes, "I'm just as human as you are. The most insulting thing you can say to me is to say that I'm not a human." He goes, "I fail, I struggle just like you," which I thought that was an awesome scene.
Yeah, and Nicholas Hoult was a damn good Lex Luthor, man. Just a hater for the sake of being a hater. No Hank McCoy. He was 100% Lex. When he comes in, standing on business, asking where Krypto is, and he's just sipping on he's like, you know, where's Krypto? I don't know what you're referring to. Like, I'm like,
you mean a dog with a cape?
Yeah, that was so good.
What'd you say? What? He was really good. Weren't people like kind of mad that he was casted?
People were not happy. Brent is on record. When we recorded All Stars,
I stand corrected.
When we recorded All Star Superman, Brent was like, I don't know, because he was such a good beast. He was Hank McCoy, and
it's the opposite of Lex Luthor in almost every way.
And he Nicholas Hoult auditioned to be Superman. It's kind of like a Bale, Cillian Murphy situation where like they both went in, 2 men enter, 2 men leave with a job, and get the perfect job. I think Corn Sweet like should have been Superman. You need an unknown at this point, like Cavill, because we're probably 3 years away from seeing Corn Sweet in a Star Wars movie. They're going to cast him as a Jedi. He loves Star Wars. He's a nerd. He's a nerd. He's a huge nerd.
He's a Jew.
Fred Skull loves that. There needs to be a complete American invincible superhero. It's kind of like Captain America, where Captain America don't fuck with America after a while because he sees the policies and he knows the impact of what happens to a society that falls to say Nazism is under dictatorship, and he fights all of them. Superman stops this war not because he wants the big red S on his chest to be recognized. He stops it because he goes, we're human beings. We're killing each other. The senseless war. When that kid is holding up the flagpole, going, please, Superman, please come, please. You're watching that as an audience member. I don't care what you're backing. You're watching that. We are all looking for a Superman at some point in our lives like that. We just want hope. And this movie delivered hope. We delivered Shope. We got Shope.
Hope. Shope.
And Slater, you were a fan of Mr. Terrific, right?
I was, yeah. I know. I was like, who is this man? We need to cover him. Like,
he was awesome in that movie.
He was really great. He
was terrific, honestly. Held up to his name. He was like, his like whole fucking getup too was so cool. He was like, it looks like he was like a little NASCAR driver or some shit. Like,
yeah, NASCAR driver with his blackface tee on his face.
We were hyped. We loved X-Men First Class, and he was great in it. And they literally killed him off like a.
The one guy who can't die dies in X-Men First Class. Darwin.
Adapt to this.
And then who was it that did it?
Shaw.
Yeah, Shaw. Yeah. It was so dumb. And so to see him, like, Gunn is a nerd. And that's who you want in charge of nerd projects. You can't rely on people in suits to be in charge of these creative decisions, because it's not people in suits who are going to see these movies. I take it back to Snyder's Justice League, for example. The 4-hour cut is a great movie. I love watching that movie. I saw the Whedon cut in theaters, and I went, this is fine. Until I saw the 4-hour cut, and I went, oh, okay, all right, yeah, that was dog shit. But I mean, they put out a version of the movie that could actually be in theaters. That was the suits coming in and going, no, we ain't doing this 4-hour shit. I remember when Endgame was announced that it was going to be 3 hours long. Everybody was like, make it 6 hours. I don't give a fuck. Like this Gunn, I was like, I don't care. I want to see Thanos butt ass naked. I want to see Ant-Man get up in that Thanos. The beauty.
He was just like the Joker, Brent, when he's reading the.
I believe whatever you put up your ass can always be made bigger.
The once I saw. There's nobody who should have doubted this movie, because this man made 3 Guardians of the Galaxy movies, and when you want to talk about Z-list, they were below Z-list. Peacemaker, his cameo had the theater dying. That was incredible.
Peacemaker is one of the best TV series I've ever seen.
Yeah,
and no one knew who this guy was.
No, and like he was his shining. I mean, The Suicide Squad,
amazing,
one of the best comic book movies ever. And the Peacemaker show, starting with like a dance choreography. Every week I'd be watching it, trying to learn the choreo to that.
Yeah,
and then him having a cameo and the John Cena, he has no business. Yeah, well, I forgot. Like it was John Cena has no business being that goddamn good or funny, and he was. To hold your own in that scene where they're in Corto Maltese and they're taking out all the rebels on the rooftop, and then it turns out they just killed all the allies.
He's holding his own with Idris Elba, who's one of the best actors of our generation.
And that line where he goes, I do what he does, but cool, and he goes, nobody likes to show off. And Cena goes, unless what you're showing off is dope as fuck. And Idris Elba goes, fuck, he's right. like that's Gunn is so good at creating that. Like that is somebody like Brent or I, who just has their head in comic books all the time, and something Raimi did so well, where you go, how do you make this from page to screen? And the way you do that is by making it. You have the Nolan route where you can make it as practical as you want to, or you could do it the Gunn route where you use Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and Adam Warlock to test out how to make flying realistic, because that is, the one wonky part of the movie, and it's hard to do. It's hard to make flying look natural or cool, I guess, because we as humans cannot fly, but like it
no one knows what it looks
like. Nobody know, and like I thought it looked cool, like the from the back, and you see his head. The only time it was weird is like when it's head on, but like him flying up or him flying down, any of the time they use his powers, I thought that the camera work and this level of meta-human, because Iron Man, we talk about, it's grounded even for all its tech and everything. To make a Superman movie feel as grounded as this did, when he saved that little girl and he like had her head down from the debris flying over, there was just so much where I was watching it and I'm going, this is exactly the superhero movie we needed right now. We've had a good year of superhero movies. We've had Thunderbolts. Was that the only Marvel movie this year?
Yeah. I think that might be the only good other superhero movie this year, but it was a good movie.
What was the other superhero movie?
Captain America: Brave New World.
Oh yeah, never mind.
We don't
Okay,
talk
so we got
about that.
Thunderbolts and we got Thunderbolts, Cap, and Superman. If you're gonna see any two movies, pick Superman and Thunderbolts.
Yeah, well, this one, like, to your point, Troy, it's like it was so visually satisfying. Like, sometimes when it's like too much like special effects, like I get a little like turned off by it because it's just so like it lacks authenticity, and then you feel more like distant as a viewer.
Right.
But like this was like the perfect balance. And I don't know if it's because we were in RPX, but like you could like feel like the pressure and like the like, you know what I mean? Like it felt like you were like, it was a very like physical experience. Like when he was like, when anything was happening, it, like his head being pushed down and him like, I felt like I couldn't breathe, or like I was like going fast too. You know what I mean?
Right. The powers he picked were very cool because I mean, Superman's powers we've seen so many times, so it's gotten almost a little stale. Like we get it, we have the heat vision, we've got the cold breath, the strength, the flying. So to give us Green Lantern has never looked this good.
Yeah. Oh my God, Guy Gardner. Like when Nathan Fillion first got announced, I went, okay, that's definitely Hal Jordan. And the fact that Gunn was like, no, I'm gonna make him Guy Gardner, perfectly sets up Lanterns. And now Hal Jordan is that guy from Bloodline, Kyle Chandler.
Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose.
Yeah, man, he's going to be a great. It's going to be really cool to see him in juxtapose of like a Gardner who they made look like none of the Lanterns really want to hang out with him, so they just kind of let him hang out on Earth and do whatever he wants to. And him telling Lois Lane about the hypno glasses, like Gardner is a hater first and foremost, so I really love that. But I mean, just he was kind of a badass, like with him with the ring and slapping the
amazing. I've never shied away from saying that I don't like the Green Lanterns. I think they're stale characters, with the exception of Jon Stewart, who I love. This movie made me like Guy Gardner.
Yeah. What I mean, that's even like there's some stuff you just can't make from the comics look cool, and he didn't try to make Guy Gardner look cool. Like he was like, you're gonna have this bowl cut.
Yeah, I was gonna say down to the haircut, like the classic bowl cut. But he was so like big that like it kind of like perfectly contrasted, you know what I mean? Because like he's like strong and like a big guy, but like with a really lame cut.
At least like, he didn't hit women in this one.
Yeah, you know, that's always a pro, you know. But
a couple times he was looking at Hawk Girl.
Yeah,
he wants to.
Yeah, Shira had. She was cool.
Apparently, it wasn't Shira though. It was some other version of Hawk Girl.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know who it was. Though.
Yeah, I liked her though. She was sassy.
Yeah, she was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, when she just dropped Netanyahu over the I forgot what she did to like kill him, but she was like, "All right, I'll let you go."
She's like, yeah. She's like, "Okay, use your words wisely."
Word.
Yeah, I feel like that's like in everything. The guy who played Guy Gardner though, like I remember I like turned to you, Troy, and I was like, "Why does he look so familiar?" Because I didn't know like who that actor was. Like, huh?
He's Captain Hammer is a part he played years ago.
Oh yeah, well, so I only recognize him from Modern Family. He was like the weather guy that Hallie dated or something, and I was like, wait, oh my God, this is the guy. And then like it was such a random cast choice for me that I was like really thrown, but he like crushed it. I was very pleasantly surprised. Yeah,
he's like a big Gunn collaborator.
I was gonna say Gunn uses the people he uses. He knows how to use.
Is he usually like behind the scenes then? Because I feel like I don't see him on.
He was in Guardians 3.
Yeah, his big roles. He was in like he did the show Castle. That was big. The Rookie.
The Rookie. He's been the Rookie for 9 years.
Yeah.
Well, he's clearly
The Wire as Perry White. That was
Bunk.
so good.
He was also with Thunderbolts.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he was. Wow, good for Wendell Price having his moment. You didn't see you've seen parts of The Wire. He's the one who always has a cigar in his mouth. And I even think there was a part in the movie where he's like, "God damn it, Jimmy." In the reference to Jimmy Olsen. I thought he was
playing that role.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'll have the audience in on a secret, and I'll even put. I have the audition tape still. I auditioned for Jimmy Olsen 3 years ago. I was in Salt Lake City with Tori Cole, and I'm not saying she's the reason I didn't get the part. It was Tori. Skylar Astin did a great job, and I did. You know, I had to be like, you don't read the part that says Eve. You just say her lines, and then I will say the part that says Jimmy after. But I auditioned the scene.
Tori reading the name of the character speaking.
Yeah.
Read through is the most Tori thing.
I have it on tape. She was reading the stage directions and everything.
I can say that because I know there is.
Tori's not watching this podcast. She don't even answer my calls anymore. There was a part. The scene I auditioned was when. He goes to Eve after he saw, I think Lex in the movie like either threatened to hit Eve or he hit Eve or something, and then she goes and she calls Lex and she meets Jimmy in the alley and she's going, Lex has facial recognition everywhere. That was the scene that I auditioned with. And when you audition for movies like that, you always get sides that like aren't going to be in the movie because they obviously don't want that to leak. And it wasn't like a consequential scene, but at the time I remember reading and going, oh, he's definitely going to use Pete Davidson and I'm just going to be the cheaper option in case Pete gets too expensive. And they went with this guy Skylar Astin, who looks like Jimmy Olsen, or at least a model.
Skylar Giacondo,
something like that.
Yeah.
Skylar Astin
he's the guy from Pitch Perfect.
Yeah, not the guy who he sat next to at the Knicks game later. He was like a good dumb Jimmy Olsen, because like I would have thought like Adam Devine. That's what I think when I think of like Jimmy Olsen. Mm-hmm. Too old now, right. But like Workaholics, Adam Devine. Great, would have been a great Jimmy Olsen. This guy was great because he wasn't necessarily Superman's pal. It was just like this guy who doesn't realize his aura was not realizing that how badly the hoes want him and him using it to his advantage.
Well, I actually think that's maybe why they went in that direction. I'm not just saying this because we're on a podcast together and you take me on the road, but I legitimately think you're too hot to play Jimmy Olsen. Like, I think...
Yeah, no, we were talking about that. It wouldn't work.
It's supposed to be like kind of nerdy, and it's like you said, he's kind of surprised that all these chicks are into him because he's such a nerd. Like, I think if you walk in and you're like the same height as Superman, and you're like, I don't know.
They can't have me be taller.
Yeah. I was just going out with Hunter Schafer, but I don't know. I don't know why these women are into me.
It's so weird. He's a huge role in Righteous Gemstones, and he's really good in that too. Yeah. Oh my God, yeah. That's how I know him.
Because he was great.
Yeah. No, he's really good at like kind of nailing that in between character where like they're a bit like unself-aware.
Pete Davidson would have been terrible casting in that.
Yeah, I don't think he would have been ready for that. Great as the Weasel.
Yeah, excellent as the Weasel.
In the Suicide Squad, Pete plays a character called the Weasel. And
that was actually Sean Gunn who played the Weasel, but he plays a similar.
That's right.
He plays the guy who gets shot in the head in the first.
So the Suicide Squad, the one James Gunn directed, marketed perfectly, where you have all these big names and they all die in the first 10 minutes. Like Pete Davidson's face literally gets blown off of his face. And then you're watching him being like, what the fuck kind of movie is this? And it turns out that Amanda Waller sent 2 teams into Corto Maltese, and team 1 was supposed to get blown up and die horribly, and team 2 was the team was Rick. So that was my question: was that Rick Flag Sr.?
That was the dad.
That was the dad who's in Creature Commandos,
right? Because we know he's lost his sight. Yeah, because basically she was sending Rick Flag Jr. to his death. That's why she gave him that terrible team of like Pete Davidson and the Weasel.
Yeah, and the Merle from Walking. Yeah, Javelin. Yeah, and Captain Boomerang and
Harley Quinn.
And Harley Quinn for some reason.
And Captain Boomerang.
Whereas
the other side has like Polka Dot Man and Idris Elba and Peacemaker.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
King Shark.
Slater's never seen it, so she's like, "Who's Polka Dot Man?" One of the best written arcs of all time.
He just wins Twister. Like, what is his deal?
You should watch this movie just for Polka Dot Man.
Yeah, he's played by the guy in The Dark Knight who Harvey has the gun against, and Batman's like, his name is Schiff Thomas, paranoid schizophrenic at Arkham. What kind of? I don't know anything. I swear. That's who Polka Dot Man is. And his arc is like his mom wanted him to be a superhero, so she did all these experiments on him in Star Labs, and he's just able to generate these like plasma shooting polka dots, like, and he has to expunge his body of them, otherwise he'll become all deformed and Elephant Man looking polka dot man. And then Idris Elba at the end has to like get the team together to fight Starro, who's like this giant, huge alien that is trying to mind control everybody. And Idris Elba, he like tells King Shark, eat Starro, go get Num Num. And then and Polka Dots Man problem is like when he's under stress, he sees everybody as his mom. And so Idris Elba looks at him and he goes, hey, that's your mom. And then you just see a giant version of his mom, and Polka Dot Man steps into action and stands on business and gets him. And you watch that and you go, there's no way Superman's going to be bad. And I knew that going in, and walking out, I was just vilified.
When Idris Elba's talking to Amanda Waller and about Polka Dot Man, he goes, what does this guy do? He shoots polka dots? And then Amanda Waller doesn't say anything. He goes, are you kidding me? He actually shoots polka dots.
Yeah, I think
exactly what you think it is.
Exactly what you think it is.
So if you're going to make that work, and then you're going to give him a title like Superman, you shouldn't be surprised that this was as great as it was. Did it have its faults? None that were glaring to me that made me want to be like I walked out of the Flash movie because I was like, none of this makes sense. There's a baby in the microwave, and now I have to look at PS2 Christopher Reeve and Batman from the 60s with no ears. And Nick Cage is Superman. And this,
I honestly was waiting for Nick Cage to somewhere pop up in this, you know?
He's right now in National Treasure 3 hunting for the Epstein files.
He was the original.
I want you to go to Earth. I want you to rule it.
Dude, also, wait, so first off, I love how Superman started, just like right in the fucking thick of it, like ready to rock. But like, you know, Krypto brings him back, and then like they just wait there and he like barks, and then the door opens. And then like when all the other people like get there, like the door just opened. Like there was no password, there was no lock. Could anyone just go in there? Did I miss something?
They explained that the way Luthor got in is he had Superman's DNA. And so that's how Ultraman was because Ultraman was the Superman clone. You need Superman's DNA to get in.
Okay.
Bizarro,
yeah.
Okay.
Which was a great reveal. That was really cool to see.
That was sick.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for that. I think he's gonna kind of be like the Scarecrow in his movies. Like every time we see him, he's gonna be a little more fucked up and stupider. Because where did they just left him in the vacuum of space, right? Mm-hmm. Like that's how they ended up.
How his face is.
His face is gonna get all mangy and crazy, and his hair was long, and like the
Oh, he might create the Bizarro world out there.
Oh yeah, see, like that's Gunn.
Maybe we'll get Zabaro.
Yeah,
Zabaro.
Everything. When people have asked me, they've been like, "I need your opinion on this movie," and I'm just like, the first thing out of my mouth is not even corn sweat. It's not the casting. It's just it's a perfect Superman movie, in my opinion. With the cameos, you needed the cameos in there to see how this, because that's what Batman and Superman was there to show you, to be like, here's how other superheroes who aren't Wonder Woman would react to this seemingly invincible super being. Like and what?
This thing you were like, how other superheroes that aren't Wonder Woman.
Yeah, well, I mean, like she's in the movies and she's not worried about him. Yeah. She's like running an art gallery and then going, Kal-El, no. She's too busy killing Palestinians. Like,
no.
She was pretty pissed that he ended the war.
Why'd you have to do that?
Give my favorite falafel vendor.
What are you doing? Yes, I think we keep this going for a few more movies. I think so. It was Slater. When people are gonna ask you what did you think of Superman, what are you gonna say?
I'm gonna say to go see it.
You give a big old raspberry.
I'm gonna see it again. Yeah, and then I'm gonna whip their shirt up and blow on their stomach. Just have no one safe on these streets. No, I would say to go see it. And you know what? It's like, I guess we saw it obviously last year with like the whole like Barbenheimer situation. That was last summer, right? Feels like forever ago.
2 summers ago.
What, 2?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. All right. So good. My timeline in my brain is actually accurate. But it was nice to see people like dressing up and everyone going to the theater, you know, like there were so many people wearing like Superman t-shirts. I mean, that's easy, but did you see the one chick that was like in like a whole getup with like the glasses and like
I
the
did
shirt?
at the theater. Yeah. And there was a guy too who was like, he was wearing the shirt with the tie around his neck, and he had the Superman shirt on underneath. And,
some people
you guys were getting a beer, and I was at the concession stand, and he walked right up to the lady, and he was like, "I want that popcorn bucket. That's the only reason I'm here." And I was like, "My man,
we'll go into this later."
Yeah, he unzipped.
Yeah, he did.
Put it right here. Extra butter.
You do what you love. You've never worked a day in your life.
It was a damn good move by DC to put this out right before Fantastic Four, because everyone's going to be comparing it to that, and I think it's going to be fun, but it ain't going to be no Superman, and that's a hard comparison. And I love the Fantastic Four; they're my favorite. They're
fantastic.
They're fantastic.
Yes. Well, I was telling Troy, there is no event in comic books that I want to see adapted more than the Galactus invasion, which we're seeing in the Fantastic Four movie, and I still don't think it's going to Superman.
Yes, truly, and I think Superman is going to be a movie that I'm probably going to see. Joe Caputo, shout out my man Joe Caputo, who saw it. That was his third time seeing it in 2 days when he saw it with us.
Yeah, it was so great sitting next to him.
It was fun because like he was watching us watch it, and it was like when Brent and I make you watch a superhero movie, so it was cool to like be the virgin eyes for once. And I think to your points later of like so many people being decked out, it was just so exciting to have a Superman movie. What? Oh, is it the Zod scene?
Yeah, Kevin Costner.
Oh yeah,
he disappears. I'm looking at the background on your screen, Slater.
The worst scene in the movie
from Man of Steel,
where he could have easily just ran and saved his dad, and Kevin Costner goes, and like that's what the Pa Kent was so good at. Yeah, just to hand up. Be like, no. I've lived my time. I have saved Whitney Houston. There is no reason for you to come and get me, Clark.
There will always be baseball.
Don't you cry.
If you build it, they will come.
If you build it, they will come. Yeah, I did Field of Dreams. God damn it.
I cut you off. I didn't mean to. But you said you would tell people to see the movie, and what did you have a favorite scene? Did you have a favorite moment? Did you have a favorite quote? Was there anything to you that stood out? Because you've seen a decent amount of superhero movies now to this point. Like, did anything about this feel different? Did it feel like they weren't trying to restart the genre? They were just trying to show you how the genre works.
Yeah. No, I feel like the points that they made were like not forceful. Like they were subtle enough that you were more receptive to it, which I appreciated. But honestly, I think like overall what stuck out to me the most was just the like the parts of the world that they were like showing. Like I'm just thinking of the when they're kind of locked in all those boxes, you know?
The prison, the shadow prison or whatever.
Yeah, like there were so many cool like made up places that were functional and still kind of based in reality, but in a futuristic, but in a Superman only kind of sense. I don't know how to explain it, but like it took you to so many places literally, but like the visual components of just how they created all these like things and like brought it to life was really what like stood out to me the most. That's what I like really appreciated, because like sometimes they kind of, I don't know, like I feel like in any of these like movies, like they kind of phone it in after a while, or they all like start to look the same, and like it's like you can't.
I'm just loving that you're saying this while Man of Steel is on the background. Exactly. Because that is the prime example.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like it's just like sometimes you could just tell that it's like, you know, a generic like whatever. Like this felt so original, and I was like seeing things that I really haven't seen and can't compare to other like superhero films. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
And like I feel like other movies too, like they're always set in a city that you know, so it's more like recognizable. So I don't know, it kind of gets like boring to me after a while. I'm like, yeah, I've seen this building blow up a bunch of times. Right?
Yeah.
Better words, but I'm
no, man. If you live in East Midtown in the Marvel universe, you must just love having your shit rocked.
Right? I know. I'm like, how are they rebuilding so quickly? That is a
Why
lot
do
of
they
damage.
keep rebuilding Brother Jimmy's?
Don't rebuild it. That's the
So
problem.
sick of that bar.
I think your point is really important, Slater. Where like this movie's messaging was very clear, and they didn't shy away from it, and they also didn't preach to you about it. They were like, "Look, this is Superman is an immigrant. He knows that he is an alien. We are living in a time right now where we are politicizing illegal immigrants and aliens, and we're also living in a time where there is a genocide happening." And this movie was very, very much like. You knew what its creators and cast, everybody's position was. It told you what its position was, and it didn't make you go, "You're wrong for thinking this." It just told you a story from that point of, some would say, an objective view, and you were able to. There wasn't like a. It's not like when you watch some Marvel movies or even DC movies where you're watching and you're going, "All right, I get what you're trying to say, man. Just like I'm on your side. Just let me watch let me watch the CGI big battle fight." This continuously had a beautiful message paired with incredible writing and phenomenal casting. Like every part of it worked. Every single part of this movie worked. It is a rewatch. I can't really tell you a Marvel movie I've rewatched more times in theaters. The last one was maybe Multiverse of Madness with Doctor Strange.
For me, it was No Way Home.
No Way Home. Yeah, and yeah, those are the two. Any other movie since then, I watched it and be like, okay, Fantastic Four, I'll probably watch a few times. This is going to be one of those movies where, like, if it's a Tuesday and I got nothing to do for 3 hours, I'm going to be like, you know what? I'm going to go watch Superman again. Because it's not like it was even a feel-good movie. It was just like about goddamn time movie, you know?
Well, yeah, because you hit on a great point, because there's a level of escapism in this.
Yeah.
Where it's just, yes, it does hit on very political themes, but it's also like, hey, this is a superhero movie and we're going to have fun here. It doesn't focus on origin stories. We know what happened to Superman. We know Krypton blew up. We know...
Wait, what?
We know Kryptonite's his weakness. We know all of that stuff. So James Gunn's like, I'm just going to put you in here. It's the same thing that Marvel did with Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yes.
We don't need to see Uncle Ben get shot again. We get what happened. And so Gunn's like, you know what? What?
You're like, how many times do I have to watch Ben die?
I know. I mean, it's...
Well, the Batman, too, you know? He was Batman for, I think, what, like 2 years at that point?
Exactly. Just you dive right in and Gunn's like, let's do something new. Let's see Krypto. Let's see these other kind of cool superheroes from DC that we haven't seen yet, like Mr. Terrific, like Metamorpho, like
Guy Gardner,
like
Hawk
Girl. Exactly. The idea that we're going to eventually start seeing guys like Booster Gold, that we've gotten Blue Beetle.
This will have a direct correlation between box office and comic book shelves, because I guarantee you right now, I mean, every time another one of these movies comes out, they restart, and there's like Superman 1 that's probably been out for a couple of weeks now. Guarantee you there's a Guy Gardner volume going out right now. Guarantee you there's a Hawkgirl one right now. Guarantee you there's a Mr. Terrific one right now. Because now when people, like, I love Forbidden Planet. That's my favorite comic book shop. I love going into it. You've got the collections of novels, and then you have the new comics every Tuesday. I love seeing what's on those shelves based on what movie is out, because it really encourages readership, and that's why I love comic books so much, because I hated reading when I was a kid, but I loved the movies, and when the movie was over, I just wanted to know. Brett and I were just talking about Cloverfield, how there's so much. Cloverfield was such a great movie that they just kept. It's like that line from 30 Rock where he was like, they kept remaking the Hulk and it kept getting worse. Like Cloverfield was one of those movies that was just so mysterious and had so much lore, and they kept adding these sequels that really had nothing to do with it and sort of tarnished the legacy. Comic books are so great because you have this movie that's out now, and it'll be years before we get another Superman movie, but we will have nothing but comic books to continue reading. So when you go to watch Superman 2, The Quest for Peace, or whatever they're going to call it.
That was Superman 3.
Superman 3. When you go to watch the next Superman movie, you'll have read all of these different comics with all of these different heroes with this knowledge of an expanded universe. And I think that's the mark of a great comic book movie. Like you can watch The Dark Knight, but it's not going to really make you want to read any more comic book of Batman. It might, but you're really going to want to like read some fucked up Joker shit. This, like, Superman used to be very, very boring to me, and I did not really care about him. I loved the animated series, and I grew up on Smallville. I did not really care that much about Superman because to me, I was like, he's invincible, he's a dork. Batman's way cooler, and he's more tragic. This made me, and if they continue to go in this direction of Superman, I think they can bring him back to what he, because Superman is very much a hero that our parents and their parents idolize. Like, that's their guy.
Yeah, well, it's also, I think the reason you didn't like him as much, same with me, is because he was boring or because he was trying to be something different. But then you recommended a book to me, All-Star Superman, which that this movie's DNA was built on
All-Star Superman. 100%.
And like my favorite part of this entire movie, I don't know if you guys remember, it was a very quick scene when he saves a woman and he puts her on the roof and he just, instead of flying away, goes, deep breaths. Just quick, deep breaths, and you'll be better. That's straight out of All-Star Superman. That even when he is doing all the superheroic stuff, fighting monsters, going after Luthor, he still makes sure that the most important thing is looking after the people.
God, that just gave me goosebumps. And that's why I would see it again, man. Like, there's just a...
I feel like watching you would probably pick up like a lot of other like little things like that.
I can't imagine the amount of Easter eggs in the prison that Lex had too. There's got to be 1 or 2 guys in there.
I was trying to look at everything, and then they were all like throwing each other on the bus. They were crazy. That was insane. I did not want to go there. That's ice right there. But
no, Well, I think that's sort of what the metaphor was supposed to be. Is like, this is a prison you're not getting out of.
There's no alligators, but
and my favorite part, to your point, is the first post credit with him and Krypto looking at the Earth. That's straight out of All-Star. That's Superman to me, and it was, that is the heart of the DC universe, because for years I said, when Wonder Woman came out, I said this is how they get the DCEU back on track, because the reason why Marvel has the MCU is because they didn't start it over with Spider-Man. They started because there was a focus group where they had a bunch of kids in a room and they said, here are a bunch of toys. Which ones are you more likely to play with? And the kids picked Iron Man because he had the coolest looking toys. So then they built this whole universe around a character who was kind of a villain and not really popular. I mean, like, people knew Iron Man, but he wasn't like Iron Man.
2006, he was definitely a villain.
He was a villain. Civil War. I mean, like, he was not a good guy. And then when they did Wonder Woman with Patty Smith after BVS, Patty Jenkins. I'm sorry.
Smith is Because the Night.
Thank you. Yes. Sorry. When they did,
I just need you in my pocket at all times.
Brent is clippy, you know.
Yeah.
He's like, did you mean to say? Which I'm glad that, you know, going on 2 years of this podcast, Brent doesn't go, I think you meant. He'll straight up be like, no, bitch, you meant this.
Anything that I missed, I always know that there's going to be
a bunch
in the comments.
Well, like, I thought that when they were doing Wonder Woman at that time, I was like, okay, this is a great way for them to kickstart the DC universe, man. Yes, we had Man of Steel, but like, make it, because that Wonder Woman movie with Chris Pine was incredible. I thought the second one was a comedy when I was watching it. I was like, they're not dead ass, right? Like, Max Lord, you have to give me the stone. You're in danger. I was like, ain't no way. Pedro signed up to do a comedy. This is hilarious. And then the movie, and then Kristen Wiig as the cheetah. I was like, oh, they dead ass. They're really doing this. This is really a movie they're doing right now. And with this, I went, this is a fantastic way to start the universe, because at first I, like a lot of people, were kind of scared that they were shoehorning in all these other characters, because I was like, usually you do that in a movie where the character itself can't stand on its own, right? Like, you would put Daredevil or like Iron Fist, for example. You would put Luke Cage and Jessica Jones and Daredevil because he's not strong enough to carry his own movie. Superman is Superman.
He could if they use the right source material. Yes. But that's a conversation.
I'm not going to get him started.
Don't get me started.
It worked perfectly because he's not just Superman. He's the leader of the Justice League, and Guy Gardner hates him because he sort of thinks he's the HNIC. He thinks he's the boss, and then he goes, damn it, you know what? This guy makes better decisions than I do. What am I going to do? Shit. And I thought that this was the perfect entry to DC. What is it? The DCU now? That's what they're calling it. Now, yeah. I'm definitely going to binge Creature Commandos, which I have not had a chance. I watched the first two. The first two. I heard it's really good. I loved Corn Sweat. The man. Not only does he have star power, he is somebody who is a nerd who cares about the character, and he reminds me a lot of of Christopher Reeve and Cavill. The reason why those two were so great as Superman is because they understood the weight of the character and how people look at it. You look at the behind the scenes footage of him playing with the kids during the shoot. When kids see that guy in costume, they're not seeing the actor David Cornsweet play Superman. They're looking at Superman when you see that as a kid. And what I thought this movie did so well is they made everybody feel like kids and adults. They just went, this is a new start. How many times have we restarted this? It's like that scene in Ted 2. And the new Superman will be Jonah Hill. Fuck! You know, like...
Also a Jewish Superman.
Also a Jewish Superman. But that's how a lot of people felt when they announced Cornsweet. They were like, oh, I'm not watching this. It's not Henry Cavill. Like, what sucks is Henry Cavill was a great Superman, but he was in a series of movies where they understood the powers and not the character. The power. They understood the power of the character, but not the character himself.
I'm sending you. I've been look. Here's the deal. Here's the deal, Kal-El. The issue is our planet's blowing up. Boom, we're gonna die. So we gotta send you to Earth. We're gonna roll these sheep. They don't know what's good for them. Two babies
going to a pod.
Going to a pod. One of them goes straight to Earth. The other, I don't know. She ends up on a planet with a red sun.
Oh yeah, wait, get Kara's cameo at the end. I forgot about that.
That one's Kal-El. You go, which one are you, my son?
Yeah, that was so great that because they're doing the Supergirl movie, and I forgot about that, and she just shows up at the end, and it turns out he's been dog sitting for her. I can't wait for that. She's apparently going to be kind of.
Yeah, we should definitely read that story soon. That's the because they're basing it right off the Tom King Supergirl story.
Oh yeah, that'll be coming up on Secret Identity. Next week we'll probably do a Fantastic Four issues, just so
Fantastic
Four. Next week we'll do some FF. I have a great run that came out in 2022. I've got 6 issues of that we'll do. But this week is obviously all about Shope and all about Superman. Any final thoughts from anybody about Superman before we wrap this baby up?
I think if I had to put my rankings of the top Superman actors, I already think Cornsweet's number 2. I think one movie, and he just did such a great job, I would put him at that number 2.
Can I guess 3? Cavill? 1,
Reeves?
Yeah.
One would be one. Yeah, one's got to be Reeves.
One's got to be Christopher Reeve. 2, Cornsweet, and 3, Cavill. I never say it right.
And then 4, I would have kind of like a combo.
Dean Cain.
I would have Daly and Newborn as
Tim Daly. I just can't. Even when we were doing our sketch, I'm doing a Tim Daly voice.
So good.
Just Lex, you're in the mafia.
I would put George Reeves though.
Yeah,
that was an iconic role.
Yeah, he just couldn't save himself from choking on a sandwich.
Everyone should watch the movie Hollywoodland. It is a great movie about what actually happened.
Have you ever seen that, Slater?
What is it?
Hollywoodland with Ben Affleck. He plays George Reeves, and it's because George Reeves, nobody really knows how he dies. He either shot himself or he choked on a sandwich or somebody shot him. Nobody knows. And in the movie, there was a great scene where a kid talking about, kids seeing actors as Superman. A kid walks up to George Reeves with a loaded gun and goes, "Can I shoot you, Superman?" And Ben Affleck as George Reeves has to talk to him and goes hey, listen, don't. I imagine it's what happens when he wakes up next to J-Lo every day. But
the scene with him when they cut him out from Here to Eternity. He was this serious actor, and then he could never get work because everyone just thought of him as Superman.
Oh, that sucks.
Kind of like everybody who's ever played the part, other than Henry Cavill, who did a great job at putting himself in all these. Cavill, he was great at what he did. You any final thoughts on Super Slater?
Well, you kept going between Cornsweet and Cornsweet, and I was like, which is it?
I'm just covering my bases. We have the same agent, so I should figure that out.
Cornsweet, it's honestly like he was born to play Superman. You got the corn.
I heard Sweat. I was like, I knew he's Jewish. David Cornschwitz.
Yeah, he was schwitzing out in that cornfield. But Sweat, he's working. He's Superman.
It was good. No, what were we saying?
It's all right. It doesn't matter. Someone just won a bingo cord. All right.
No, he was like, I thought I'd get more love from Cornschwitz from you. And I was like, no, it was good. I just wanted to let her finish your point.
It's okay. I've lost it. But it was good. I like that they treated the audience like we were actually not idiots. Like it wasn't spoon feeding like a lot of these movies do. So I like that they, treated people like we actually are smart and can connect the polka dots. So yeah.
Loved the use of the John Williams track continuously. I thought that was beautiful too. Just the and just the perfect tribute amount. Like that's what fires you up as a Superman fan. Like anytime I hear that, I go right to the gym because it makes you feel like you could lift something above your head 10 times your body weight. Yes, I have to pump it. And like it felt like a fan film that was made for a blockbuster audience is the best way I could put it. And like you could tell this movie was made with love.
Yeah. It had some serious TLC in there and I felt it and I liked it.
I felt it too. And you have to, if you've seen it already, go see it. Let me get that out without a burp. If you've seen it, go see it again. I can't even say it. It was so goddamn good. We are obviously recording this not in our general setup. Brent and I are in the middle of nowhere, Wisconsin.
Brookfield.
Slater, we're in Brookfield, Wisconsin, having a great time at the Improv. But this movie was so important, and so many people were asking for our thoughts of it. We had to get it out. I give it a 9 out of 10. I'm not even sure why I'm not giving it a 10 out of 10. I just I loved it. I thought it was great. I recommend it to everybody, and it was a great summer. Mission Impossible being the start of summer blockbusters. Slater and I both walked out of that movie and went, "This mission is very possible." And like, even we took my assistant Rosie to see this. Who was like, "I'm not gonna make it all the way through this movie because it was so late." We left. We went to a 10:30 screening. We were out at 1, and like she stayed the whole time. Like that is a testament.
I was like, I've never had Superman. I didn't think he was going to keep me out till 1 a.m. That was wild.
Which thank you guys for accommodating my show schedule there.
Well, I mean, like Slater, we'll pick movies all the time, and she's like 10 o'clock. You ain't making that one because you're gonna fall asleep.
Yeah,
I'm a chronic movie sleeper, and I 1 a.m. You guys were helping me look for my phone under the seats because that's how into it I was with this movie, and it was fantastic.
Superman's so good, you lose your phone. You don't even care.
I wasn't glued to it at all.
Guys, I think this is the first good movie the three of us have all seen together. Because you and I saw Ninja Turtles, which was great. You and I saw Thunderbolts together. But the only other movies the three of us saw were Craven and Venom. And I love Venom, but it's not a good movie.
Yeah. This was great.
This was great.
It was I recommend everyone go see it and pick up a few Superman books along the way. Read All-Star Superman if you want to know where they got the DNA from this from. And obviously we've talked about the animated series in the past on the show before too. But
we'll do Red Sun eventually. We're going to get to it.
We just I'm already flagged on a few communism lists as is. So before we get to Red Sun, we just got to balance that out and make sure the FBI isn't watching. But we have Fantastic Four coming out when, the 21st?
I think so.
So next week's episode, we're going to do some FF issues, and then the following week we'll do a Fantastic Four movie review. But I mean, until then, true believers, thank you all for trusting us to give you a review of Superman. I've been Troy Bond.
I've been Brett Birdbaum.
I've been Slater Harrison.
Up and we're gay.